So let's now have a look at the level plane, which is the third and final step of the TSPL configuration. The level plane, differently from the IV calibration and the approach piezo procedure, is not done every time we pattern or read a field with a nanophraser. That is because we want to measure the macroscopic inclination of our sample. Because whenever we place any object on any surface, this surface is not going to be perfectly flat. So we need to measure the slope on x, along x and y. So usually this is a macroscopic slope, therefore it should not change much if we move across the sample. And this slope is also measured across an area of 60 micrometers, so it's quite large, thus it should not change much. So this explains why we don't run this level plane procedure every time we have to do something with a nanophraser. Still, in the session, we can choose in the TSPL patterning parameters to always run the sample level plane in case we want to. So this is something a little bit more advanced in case we want to have the sample level plane every time we pattern, but it's not really required. So let's go to the sample level plane area. So during the sample level plane, a series of approaches is performed along a single line in each of x and y axis between this given minimum and maximum values, and the height for each position is obtained. So this measure height in nanometers. Then the correction is obtained by fitting a line through the data of each axis and correcting later the displacement by the slope of this linear fit. So we have this linear fit, which we have done the final level plane after the correction. And if more iterations, so you can see here we can change the iterations, are made, the correction of previous iterations is already applied and the results may be improved. And we also have the sample slope recorded here in case you're curious to see the final values. One thing that is important to mention when doing this sample level plane procedure is to be on a relatively flat area. So we don't want to have not really artifacts, sorry, but some structures that are not flat, that are either sticking out or in the surface. So in this case we see that we don't really have any structure, any defect on our PPA. It's just bare PPA with nothing on it, so it's perfect for the sample level plane. You see that also the surface is relatively flat and clean. So what I recommend is not including as much as possible any structure when doing this procedure, because it will create some fake residuals which will then affect your patterning.